Now, if you're sitting comfortably, or uncomfortably if you prefer, we shall begin. Once upon a time there was a magnificent kingdom, where there stood a magnificent castle, where there lived a magnificent princess. And aren't I just? And although she was the richest and prettiest fairytale princess there ever was, well, in comparison to most of the other dregs in the palace, she was also the most rude, spoilt and selfish fairytale princess there ever was. Now, well, you can't have everything. Unless, of course, you're me. Her royal advisors and ladies-in-waiting tried to curb her bad habits, but to no avail.
But Princess, why must you be so selfish and cruel?
Because I'm in a position of power and I can do whatever I like.
Well, I'm not an expert on royal duties, but shouldn't you be attending some important matters of state?
No, it's swimming pools full of blue pop for me, and you can't have any. So there. But the Queen was most upset by her daughter's behaviour and chastised her most thoroughly.
I'm not being funny, right, but I'm bloody disgusted in you.
You're right, you're never funny.
Don't be so rude. I'm not having you being cheeky to our guests. It don't suit you.
Do you know what would suit me? A diamond carriage with 6 white horses and a whole cupboard full of creature crunch and flumps and plums and...
You won't be having any of that if you don't pull your socks up and start showing some manners. Now, when you're out there with them royal princes and dukes and whatever else, you better behave yourself. And that's swearing.
All the eligible gentlemen of the queendom were summoned to the castle so that the princess could select an unlucky fellow to be her husband. And among them were... Geriatric, no, too old. Adolescent, too young. Maturity, too middle-aged. As you can see, she was somewhat picky. Too feminine. She also had no taste. Too tall, too short, too thin, too airy, too annoying, too choppy. Despite all the gentlemen had to offer, the princess really was reasonably choosy. I mean, I'd married most of them myself at some stage. Too fat. Oh, hi, Mum.
You cheeky get. You've only got one left now that hasn't been offended yet.
Well, I don't want him to feel left out then, do we? I'm sure I can think of something to find fault with. The very last guest was a distinguished, charming, and very handsome king, which only leaves the question... Who's been tampering with my storybook?
I don't have to answer that on the grounds that it may incriminate me.
The king gazed at the princess, and the princess gazed at the king. It was the princess who broke the silence.
Why did you do that?
Because I like loud noises and making a mess.
Too right you do. Haven't you got anything nice to say about our guest?
Why should I? It's too short, he's got skinny legs, and do I even need to mention the scraggly little beard? That's what I'm going to call him from now on, King Crowbeard. Though it wasn't a particularly imaginative name, the entire room burst into laughter, mostly because they'd be beheaded if they didn't. King Crowbeard himself quietly shook his head.
Why would you say such cruel and unkind things? Not just to me, but to all the people in your kingdom. You'd get more out of life if you were kind and polite.
Well, I'm horrible and I get what I want anyway, so what's the point of being polite?
Well, it just goes to show that all the money in the kingdom can't buy manners or basic human decency.
Yeah, but I can buy all the bootlickers and bum kisses I want. After the scene the princess made, the queen was furious.
I thought it was quite a nicely written scene, actually.
You do realise that not a single eligible bachelor in the kingdom wants to marry you?
I don't want to get married anyway.
Well, you should. It'll get you out of the house and into the real world. I mean, I'm stuck in here on my own all day. I've only got 300 servants. I can't be expected to do everything with your father off on crusades. You had 3 royal appointments last week. You didn't bloody keep one of them. I want you to get out there into the real world full of enchanted fairy tale castles and unicorns and sentient furniture.
Oh, the things I've seen.
I'm fed up with your attitude, lady. I really am. And if you don't want to marry a prince, then you might as well marry the first beggar that wanders in from the street.
Just then, the princess heard a terrible noise coming from outside the window. She looked out and was aghast to see such a wretched, horrible creature.
Yoo-hoo! It's me! To the elevator at last!
Get out, you're not supposed to show up till the end.
Cheeky! I just thought this cartoon sorely needed a bit of sex appeal. Don't be daft, you know YouTube won't allow it. Now, sod off, we've got a story to tell.
I guess there's only room for one dame in this pantomime.
Now, where was I? Ah, yes. The princess saw a mysterious figure collecting sticks outside the castle grounds. Sure enough, it was a wretched old beggar. His face was wrinkled and gnarled, his clothes were dirty and unkempt, and he seemed to be older than the earth itself. And he smelled bad too.
Oh, well now you're just getting personal.
Oi, you! Old beggar! What are you doing on royal soil?
Collecting royal sticks, of course.
Well, you better leave or I'll throw some royal stones to break your bones.
Oh, are you really that princess who everyone wanted to marry? What would make someone want to be with a rude, horrible person with lots of money and power?
The Queen saw this as an opportunity for her daughter to learn a valuable lesson, and to get some respite from all her demands.
There you go. There's a nice beggar for you to marry. Don't be shy, I want some grandkids.
Well, she's not really my type, but beggars can't be choosers.
Mum, you can't!
I meant what I said. And don't use that language, it f***ing offends people.
And after much begging, pleading and whining, the beggar and the princess left the castle.
Where are we going for our honeymoon?
London and Paris. I'm off to London.
Oh, alright then.
They walked for many miles, over hill and over dale, and over bill and over boomhauer, until they finally arrived at the beggar's place of residence. The princess took one look at the place and started reeling.
Look, you're gonna love this!
I highly doubt that.
It's my very own rubbish heap. Now, our very own rubbish heap. We can keep all the things that everyone else throws away, or that they don't want anymore.
Why would you want to keep a load of useless old tat?
I can put it on a shelf and use it as the backdrop of my YouTube's channels, where I talk about children's cartoons that make me irrationally angry.
Yeah, because no one's ever done that before.
And there's the hole in the roof where we can sit and watch the stars. Look, I can see the Northern Star.
Hey, happen a necky thump, it's right greatly to see ye.
I would like to take this opportunity to formally apologise for the quality of the jokes in this cartoon.
By gum, and who are you supposed to be?
Why, the dog star, of course. Now listen here, peasant. I want some food and somewhere to sleep.
There's a stained old mattress in the corner.
Ugh, I'm not eating that.
Oh, I find sleeping on it makes me forget that I'm hungry. Being a penniless beggar and all.
Well, that's too bad. Have you tried being born into a rich, privileged family like me?
Hey, I'm lucky to even have a place to live. Things could be a lot worse, you know.
Well, there could be a lot better too. That night, the princess tossed and turned. She tossed the beggar out of bed and turned away from his appalling body odour. But the morning finally arrived, and they woke up itching to start the day, quite literally as the mattress was full of fleas. Can I get a cup of tea? I'm spitting feathers here.
Oh, I'm not surprised. You ate your pillow in your sleep.
Oh, I can't take any more of this. I want to go back to my lovely castle with my servants and my 5-course meals and that one room made entirely out of cake.
You won't have to wait long. Look! This invitation came today from King Crowbeard himself. He wants us to attend the royal banquet. How kind of him to invite us. Ooh, a smelly old tramp and the former princess who so cruelly snubbed him and gave him a rude nickname which he will be known as for the rest of his days.
Wow. Way to kick me when I'm already lying in the dirt. It wasn't long before the unhappy couple set off to King Crowbeard's party. The princess decided to spit out the feathers and swallow her pride instead.
Nice of the king to invite us over for a banquet, eh, princess?
We've already done this bit.
Oh.
Now the princess was used to being the centre of attention, but as she and the beggar walked through the entrance to the Great Hall, she felt very ashamed and self-conscious.
Hello, good evening. Look who I'm with, everybody.
Keep your voice down. I look a complete mess.
Oh. There you go. Now you're the fancy one.
Cheers, pal. Though the princess felt a twinge of sympathy for the beggar, that was nothing compared to the rumble in her stomach. She was so hungry that she resorted to stealing the table scraps. And I know how that feels. I always get told off for begging at the table. Lobster thermidor, dauphinoise potatoes, Black Forest gatto. Don't they have any proper grub like turkey twizzlers or angel delight? Nah, well, I'll just stuff some in my pockets to eat for later. Just then, the court musicians started to play, and everybody got up to dance. The princess was so busy snaffling her snacks that she didn't notice the beggar walking towards her.
It's our song, baby. Let's dance.
No, wait, my hands are all greasy.
So are mine. Lord, we have so much in common.
As they danced, the food the princess stole fell out of her pockets and made a grand old mess of things.
Oh my goodness.
She slipped and slid all over the dance floor while the astonished crowd stared. For the first time in her life, the princess didn't want people to look at her.
Ugh, get off me, you stupid old goat! You've ruined my evening and my entire life! I hate you!
Well, I did try and be nice. I shared my home, my food, and even my best dance moves. And that wasn't enough to change your mind. I'll be out in the car park picking at cigarette butts if you want me.
Aww. The princess felt like shrinking into the floor. How she wished she had been nicer to the beggar. But before this scene gets clipped out and posted onto one of those oddly specific YouTube fetish channels, King Crowbeard appeared.
Princess, it appears that you are truly sorry for how you have behaved.
If only I'd been nicer to my mother, to my subjects, to the beggar, to you.
To me?
To you.
Princess, I am moved by your change of heart. I can now reveal that I am, in fact,
Yes? Yes?
Jeremy Birdle, and you've been framed.
You what, mate?
Yes, this was all just a ruse to embarrass and humiliate you in front of a live studio audience. The old beggar you spent the night with, well, he was a close friend of mine.
I did it for 3 worms, a bag of corn, and a huge wad of cash.
You mean there isn't a quicker and less psychologically damaging way to teach me that lesson?
Sure, but it wouldn't have been nearly as entertaining.
Too bloody right. And I was in on this whole thing too, so you can spread that in your packet and munch it.
Oh my god! Oh, no.
Well there's some not-so-light entertainment.
Oh my word.
And the moral of the story is, a beard in the hand is worth 2 on the mush.
everybody. Is it time for my close-up yet? Oh, baubles!